Imagine your self-worth is a treadmill. And from the moment you wake up, you are forced to start running. The speed is always increasing. There is no off switch. And the only way to feel that you are a good person, the only way to feel that you are worthy of your own existence, is to keep running, faster and faster and faster. So what happens when you need to rest? What happens when your body is screaming, when your mind is exhausted, when you just need to step off the treadmill for a moment? You are flooded with a wave of profound and deeply painful guilt. If you know this feeling, this deep internal shame that comes with the simple act of being still, then you are living with one of the most pervasive and invisible tyrants of the modern world. It is a ghost that haunts our culture, our workplaces, and our own minds. It is called internalized capitalism. And the central, unspoken belief of this system is this: your worth is not inherent. It is your output. You are what you produce. Today, we are going to talk about this ghost. We are going to understand that the guilt you feel for resting is not a sign of your laziness or your lack of ambition. It is a sign that you have been successfully indoctrinated into a system that profits from your exhaustion. You do not feel guilty for resting because there is something wrong with you. You feel guilty because you have been taught that your humanity is less important than your productivity. Let's be very clear. Your body is not a machine. It is a beautiful, biological organism with natural, cyclical needs for both activity and rest. Rest is not a luxury. It is not a reward you earn after you have been productive enough. Rest is a fundamental human right. It is a biological necessity. It is the sacred and non-negotiable process through which your body and your mind heal, integrate, and regenerate. So why does this simple, life-giving act feel so dangerous? Because you have been conditioned to see your own body not as a home, but as a tool for production. This conditioning is everywhere. It's in the rise and grind culture that glorifies exhaustion as a badge of honor. It's in the constant pressure to monetize your hobbies, to turn your passions into a side hustle. It's in the very language we use, "I had a productive day," as if that is the only measure of a day well spent. We have forgotten how to value the simple, unproductive, and sacred act of just being. But for many of us, this conditioning started long before we ever entered the workforce. It was learned in the classroom of our childhood. If you grew up in a home where your value was tied to your achievements, where you were praised for your grades, your trophies, your performance, you learned that love and approval were the direct result of your output. Resting, playing, doing nothing, these were not activities that earned you praise. So your child's brain learned, to be loved, I must be doing. To be still is to be unworthy. This is also learned by the parentified child. The child who had to be the little adult, the caretaker, the one holding everything together. Your childhood was a job. You learned that your role was to be endlessly useful. Resting would have felt like a dereliction of your duty, a dangerous and selfish act. And it is learned in an environment of scarcity or instability. If you grew up in a home where there was a constant, underlying sense of financial or emotional insecurity, you learned that the world is not a safe place to rest. You learned that you must always be striving, always be working, always be vigilant, just to stay afloat. Your nervous system learned that stillness is not safety, it is a threat. So you arrive in adulthood, and you are the perfect worker. You are ambitious. You are disciplined. You are relentless. But you are also running on empty. You are haunted by the ghost of internalized capitalism. And it shows up in your life in painful ways. It shows up as a constant, humming anxiety when you are not being productive. A weekend with no plans doesn't feel like a gift, it feels like a crisis. It shows up as an inability to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. You cannot just watch a movie. You must be watching a productive movie, a documentary. You cannot just go for a walk. You must be listening to a podcast to better yourself. Every moment of your life has to be optimized for output. And it shows up as profound burnout. You push your body and mind past their natural limits again and again, ignoring their desperate pleas for rest. Until one day, the system collapses. And you are left with a body that is in so much pain, or a mind so exhausted, that rest is no longer a choice. It is a forced shutdown. So how do we begin to exorcise this ghost? How do we reclaim our sacred and non-negotiable right to rest? It is an act of quiet and profound rebellion. It is the journey of uncoupling your self-worth from your productivity. The first step is to recognize the voice. The next time you are resting, and you feel that familiar anxious voice in your head, the one making a to-do list, the one scolding you for being lazy, pause and name it. Ah, this is not me. This is the voice of internalized capitalism. This is the ghost. By seeing it as an external cultural force, not your own true voice, you take away its power and its shame. The second step is to practice intentional, unapologetic rest. You must schedule rest into your calendar with the same seriousness you would schedule a business meeting. And in that scheduled time, your only job is to do things that have no point. Lie on the grass and watch the clouds. Listen to an album from beginning to end, doing nothing else. Take a nap in the middle of the afternoon. At first, this will feel incredibly uncomfortable. The guilt will be immense. That is the work. You are retraining your nervous system. You are teaching it that stillness is safe. The third step is to redefine productivity. The current definition is toxic and incomplete. What if resting was the most productive thing you could do for your creativity? What if play was the most productive thing you could do for your relationships? What if doing nothing was the most productive thing you could do for the long-term health of your own precious body and mind? You are not being lazy. You are refueling. You are regenerating. You are healing. And that is the most productive work of all. And finally, you must gently begin to challenge the core belief. The belief that your worth must be earned. You can do this by creating a new mantra for yourself. A truth you can repeat over and over until it starts to feel real. My worth is not in my doing. My worth is in my being. I am a human being, not a human doing. It is safe to be still. This is not just about taking more naps. This is a revolutionary act of reclaiming your own humanity from a system that wants to turn you into a machine. It is the brave and necessary work of building a life where your well-being, not your output, is the ultimate measure of your success. You do not need to earn your rest. You are worthy of it, right now, exactly as you are. If this video was helpful for you, please show your support by clicking the like button. To continue this journey of healing, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. And if you know someone who feels guilty for resting, please share this video. It might be the permission they need to finally be still. Thank you for watching. It is safe to rest.